The Typhon, running the X8S 1100 kV motor, hobby wing, cat pack. This thing's got potential to do 200, maybe 220k. It's all ready to go with the GRPs on it. And just having a look here. Raz Schiffman's bat wing, all the diffusers, looking cool. Hey y'all, General RCs. I thought I'd do another review. It's been about 7 months since I did the last one about my speed runs and stuff like that, and since then I've had a few upgrades and a few cars happening here. Start off with the Felony here, running the X8S and the Hobby Wing 1100 kV motor with the cat pack, and it was pretty tough to get it. Took a while and a lot of risk and a few sideways in it, especially when I was running the foams. I tried out the foams on a particular road and it was kind of like a smooth road, and when I tried out the foams it was just like sideways four-wheel drive. It actually nearly hit my feet, and 177 k's, but with the GRPs it seemed to have more traction at that time. Maybe it was the temperature of the road. It was a bit too cold for the foams in New Zealand, or the road was a bit too smooth, or both of them. And with the GRPs did 209, so that's pretty good, the Felony doing that. And this is a new build here. Got the XLX2, the 2028 motor in there, this Castle Creation, and I have the batteries would go on the side here, the motor's on that side, so it's going to be awesome. So at the moment waiting on some parts like a servo for that. Put a servo in there, and I'll run probably a GT body, may go for a Jag body or a Toyota GT body, and get that thing going for fun. It's like brand new, haven't used that one yet. With this one here, all these RC cars seem to have a bit of a story, a bit of a history in them, and this one here is my original Limitless. Would be about a year and a half ago when I first started doing speed runs. I put in the first motor I put in this was the Hobby Wing, what is it, 1650 kV with the Max 5, and I hit 200k a couple of times, or a few times, but I was around the 194, 195, 198 and 199. I did quite a bit. That's running GRPs. GRPs last a long time, and you can run GRPs in the winter even if it's raining a little bit. And I had GRPs last me for about 3 months, at least 3 months, and kept going, maybe a bit longer. So at the moment I've got the foams on, but it's top speed. Oh, now it's running the XLX2. It's got the Castle Creation 1770 in there. I've got quite a few fans there, 1, 2, 3, 4 fans there, just to keep the motor cool, because that motor seems to heat up a bit. Running the XLX2, I found that it keeps it a little bit colder than the X8S if you're running 1770, and it's got lights hooked up there on the sides and stuff like that. It's got these what do you call these things here, the top arms all been upgraded. I've been having so many accidents in this one, it being my first RC car, and I got fed up with replacing the plastic ones all the time. So since I put the metal ones in, or aluminium ones, it's been a lot stronger when you have, so I'll be hitting banks at about 150, 160k as I'm trying to stop, get to the end of the road and run out of the road, and I hit the banks and it'll just slam into the bank, and it would bend or buckle or break the plastic ones. But with these arms here, the top arm and the rear arms have been upgraded. Since I've had them, I've had no problems. It's been through countless diffs I couldn't even number how many diffs it's been. It's been through 3 chassis. It's got the metal housing diff there, which helped at that time. I didn't know too much about meshing the pinion and the spool to get it. Well, no, sorry, it's the inner gear and the crown gear. That's right, the inner gear and the crown gear, meshing them together when you're running the plastic diff housing at doing, you know, them speeds 190 plus. It was bowing the plastic housing, and I found, and I didn't know too much about meshing them up, and I wanted to just do it properly, so I spent quite a bit of money and bought the upgraded diff housing, the metal aluminium diff housing. Since I've had that, the meshing has been excellent, and so it's top speed right now, running the XLX2 1717 1615 kV motor on GRP tires, was 223. And now that I've got the foams on it, I didn't run it, I haven't run it, I've shelved this car at the moment because it's my first car. Done massive amount of repairs in it because I was learning from it, but everything's like brand new now, new chassis, new arms, and a new body, clear body. So that has its own history and story in that one. Now going to the beast, which is the T-Power XLX2. Originally it was a limitless, and when I had it in the limitless, it did 225 k's running the T-Power motor. This GRPs 225. Talking about GRPs, in New Zealand roads, it's really tough. You know, running the GRPs, I found that if you're running around 218, 220, or just a bit over 220 on your fourth run, your GRPs will blow on the back. I was blowing the 2 rear tires, and once the 2 rear tires blow at them speeds, it lifts up the back, the front lifts up, and it gets airborne, and that car is going for a pretty bad crash at that speeds. So I thought to myself, man, when going back to the felony here, I was thinking to myself, man, when I put foam tyres on this, I did 177 k's. Compared to the GRPs, it was like sideways all over the road. It was a smooth road, like I mentioned before. It was a smooth road, and it was going sideways all over the road on the foams. And I thought to myself, how am I going to get traction out of these foams? Maybe these roads in New Zealand are not working for the foam tyres. And so I went off foam tyres and I went back to GRPs, and that's when I did the speed 225 on this with GRPs. Then I thought, oh my gosh, you know, these GRPs, I scraped them 4 times on the GRPs on these. I thought, man, the 5th run is definitely going to have a blowout. It's going to crash. And then it seemed to be quite hot, and I was using a different road. So the road was a little bit rough, and it was a hot day, extremely hot. I tried these foams out, so I put the foams on, adjusted everything on it. This is before it was Corvette. I just converted it to Corvette. This is when it was GT Toyota. So I put the foams on it, hot day, tested it out. I did some modifications to whatever, tested it out, and did 231 on foams. And I thought, oh my gosh, these foams are working. Good thing about foams that I've noticed, that if you're hitting a cat's eye or hitting something that's a bump on the road at them speeds, the foams keeps the car stable. It stays on the road, where versus the GRPs, which I have over here, got some fishing line on there and some glue. If you hit a cat's eye or something like that, it will lift up the rear or lift up the front, depending which way it hits the cat's eye, and then the car's going to go airborne, especially over 200k. Well, the thing is with the foams, what happens with the foams is the foams will just split, but at least you get your car back and it doesn't have an accident at them speeds once it's a cat's eye, whatever. So anyway, going back to the story, so this thing here, 231 kilometers, very happy with it, very impressed. Obviously my goal has been 241. 2022 is the year for 241. You know, it's pretty hard to do it in New Zealand, like I said. For New Zealand roads, I know I've experienced it. I've had a lot of problems with the New Zealand roads. They're really rough, and if you find a nice smooth road that's either too smooth and the foam tyres seem to not work, and mind you, it was a bit cold at the time. You either got that problem and you can't get traction, or your road's just too rough and you just got to drive in a certain margin of that road throughout your whole run. And but anyway, it did it on the foams. It was a hot day. I pulled it off 231, and the goal is 241 this year for 2022. You know, if you like this channel and like what I do, you know, support, you know, us New Zealanders, because we're trying to hit the 241 kilometers, and this year I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to do it. And subscribe, hit the bell button, and thank you for listening. Over and out.